75 years old. At 75, a person is this current situation, the person is already a pensioner. If you're 75 years old, you cannot go apply for a job, they won't take you. Except politics. Corporate world, it's difficult to employ you at that age because it's age beyond a pensioner. That the moment where our God, called Abraham. You know what he told him? But if you read the scripture, Abraham was well established. He had properties. He even had people who were working for him. He was well established. But God called him. He said, I want you to do what I would say, what I would tell you to do. You must depart from your family, your clan, your kinsmen, your village, to the place where I will show you. It's a bit complicated. It's not that to the place where you have been, no. The place where I'm taking you, I will. Which means he will find out. He have no idea where God is taking him. When this message came to Abraham, he was 75 years old, but childless. He had no child. But God says that once you depart from your tribe, from your parents' house, from this environment, from this area, I will show you where you will be. And where I will. I want you to mention, to keep this in mind. I will. If it says I will, which means what I'm telling you is in the future. In order for you to receive what I will give, you have to shift, you have to move. Abraham's father was an idol worshiper. They were worshiping idols, but he received a calling from a different God to go to the place where he never been before, to the place where he has no idea. Like me today, I just woke up one morning telling my wife that, hey, God told me that we have to pack our things and leave this place. And it's going to show where we are supposed to be. She won't trust me. She will say, are you mad or what? They told you just to leave, to go where they will show you. You see, it's a bit tricky. But the Bible declares, Abraham departed. He left his family. Because God said that I will make your name great. Where I'm taking you, that is where I will bless you. That is where I will change your situation. But remember, this man is well established. He had cow, he had animals, he had people work for him. Can a poor man ask people working for him? No. In order for people to work for you, you have to have something. But he left. The moment he was going, at 75 years old, he left his family. He reached a place. God said, this is where I will give this place unto you, to your descendants. Now, listen to this. God said that I will make your name great. I will multiply you. A person at 75, he was childless. At 80, nothing happened. He was still childless. At 86, he was still childless. And God appeared to him. He said, walk before me and be blameless. He told God that, look, God, you have brought me out of here. Because when he departed from his place, he became more rich. God blessed him with a lot of goods, but he has no child. At 86, God appeared to him. He said, be blameless. And he said, look, I'm going without a child. Eliezer, who is the head of my household, is going to inherit what you've given me. God said, no. The child coming from you is the one who's going to take over. Why? Because God does not want to share his glory with another one. Whatever he does, he has to make sure when you sit, you look back, you say, I could have not been here where I am if God was not part of my life. At 86, that's when the idea came via Sarah. Said that, look, since I'm unable to give you a child, here's my servant, Hagar. Go with her. Maybe I can have a family through her. Abraham took that advice. Not every advice is good. Sister Shikana, not every advice is good. Even if that advice is coming from the person whom you trust the most, you must first take the advice and look the word of God. What the word does it say about that advice? Does God in support or against what they are giving as advice? The advice comes from the woman, his wife, his beloved wife. For Abraham, it was a good idea. He went and lay down with the maid servant. She became pregnant. And she bore him a son. But the Bible declares, before the moment she became pregnant, she started despising the person who made her to become pregnant. She forgot that it was because of Sarah that she was pregnant. She didn't know that Abraham never even considered her. But she became pregnant, forgetting the source of that pregnancy. It was not Abraham, it was Sarah. It was the one who advised the husband, go with my maidservant. But the moment she became pregnant, she thought she's more important, she's more precious than a mistress. Sarah told Abraham that I don't want to see this woman. She was chased after. She ran away from the house. Where she was going, she met an angel. The angel said to her, go back and be submissive to your mistress. Our story is not there. The moment Abraham received Ishmael, he was 86 years old. If Abraham was 86, Sarah was 76, because they were 10 years apart. Now, according to science, can a lady of 76 give birth? No. She was only 76. Madam, is it possible? 76 giving? Yeah. According to science, impossible. 60s, it might happen, but 76, It's finished. At 99, the Lord appeared to Abraham. And he made a covenant with Abraham. That is when we read in Romans chapter 4 verse 18. Read for me again that one. I will start the message there. Romans 14:18 says what?
Romans chapter 4 verse 18. It reads,
17.
As it is written.
As it is written.
I have made you a father of many nations.
I have made you. That is in Genesis chapter 19, Genesis chapter 17 verse 5. I have made you a father. Read for me that one first. Let's go to Genesis before I come back here.
Genesis chapter 17 verse 5. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham.
No longer will be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham.
For I have made you.
For I have made you. What is? If it says I have made you, it says what?
A father of many
nations. If
nations.
it says I have made you, it means what? Covenant with Abraham. God changed. He said, you will no longer be called Abraham. You'll be Abraham. Because I have made you. Thank you. Mess it down. I have made you a father of many nations. Now, the moment is receiving this is 99 years old. At this moment, there is no hope to have a child. He even pressed, let Ishmael live. God said, yes, he will live. But I have made you a father of many nations. The promise which God gave to Abraham was not with Abraham, with Hagar. Hagar was a shortcut. The promise was Abraham and Sarah. That promise was the two of them. You know, when God gives you a promise, do not try to help God accomplishing his promises. Most of the time we are helping God, that's why we find ourselves into trouble. How come at 99 years, God said that I have made you? He has no child. But there's one thing which I love about the Bible. If you go down to verse 17, say, as it is written, I have made you a father of many nations. Is our father in the sight of God, in whom he believed, the God who gives life to the dead and call into being things that they were not, which is impossible to God. People can say it is finished, it is over, there is nothing this man can do. But if God haven't said anything and you still believing in God, it shall happen. 99 years old, the husband. The wife, she was 89 years old. The Bible declares the ability of Abraham giving birth is gone. Sarah's womb was good as dead. When you go to the hospital, whenever you reach certain age, like lady's body, there won't be any eggs. All the eggs will die and disappears. According to science, beyond the age of 50, unless God intervenes. But science says that it is over. The environment says that it is impossible. Let me make you understand. In 2010, there was an earthquake in Haiti. 7.8 magnitude earthquake. According to the news, 200,000 people died on that earthquake. First day, there were rescuers going around, combing the scene, retrieving people. First day, they were retrieving people. Second day, they were retrieving people. Third day, they were retrieving people. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 10th day. According to science, if a person does not eat and drink for 10 days, it's gone. It's finished. The person dies. On the 11th day, they called off the rescue. They say, we cannot find any survivor. The rescuer finished. You know, God is beyond human understanding. On the 15th day, they retrieve a young girl alive. 15 days, no water, no food. They pull her out of the rubble alive. It is finished. She was okay. 16th day, 17th day, 19, 20 days. It's finished. But there was a family who lost their family member. His name was Ivan. His family never give up from believing, from knowing that we're going to find our beloved one because he was missing. They never give up. Even though all the signs were there. Science told them that you are wasting your time. Never saying that it's better you start mourning your beloved one because it's gone, it is finished. They said no. We cannot give up until we find him. We cannot give up searching, looking for him because we know he's still alive. 21st day, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. On the 27th day, when they were combing the rubbles, they locate him. He came back after the rubble after 27 days. No food, no water. The family never give up. They never give up. Whatever which science said, they did not care. Sometimes we give up because of what the science is telling us. We are giving up because of what others are going through. You are not them. The situation in which Abraham found himself, others were in the same situation. But their case were not the same. But the Bible says, despite of Abraham, he was beyond, Sarah was beyond the age of childbearing. But Abraham believed. He never weakened in his faith. Most of people, they hope when they see that there's still hope. It's hoping because you know that there is someone who's going to help me. Let me give you my testimony. Being a young boy at the boarding school, we had the subject of chemistry. Our lecturer, he was a man who was drinking too much. Sometimes he will come during session in school. He's drunk. You can even smell the alcohol. I was understanding his subject. I was good. in chemistry. But when we wrote the test, I realized I failed. I said, no. I can't fail. I went to his place after the exam. I said, sir, I've realized that I failed. The time you were giving us the report, you said that I failed, but I don't accept it. How come? I said, yes, the way I wrote my test, I knew that I cannot fail. It's okay if you want me to adjust your mark. Bring me money. I said, I won't give you money. I was young, but believing in God. I told him, I cannot give you money. He left. He went to drink. I went to his place. It was around 11 o'clock a.m. I sat and waited for him until what time can you imagine? 5 p.m. he came back drunk. Are you still here? I said, yes, I'm still here. What is the money? I said, I don't have money. I went back to the boarding school. In the following day, 9 o'clock, I'm at his place. You are here again? I say, yes, I'm here. Because I don't want to see my points the way it is. But that man, it was not easy. You know, teacher who drinks, the first things he sees, it's money. I had no money, but I had God. The next day, I got there. He said, are you here? I said, yes. What do you have? I said, I have Jesus. Go drink your Jesus. I said, okay. He left. He went and drank. He drank. He came back around 3, drunk. When he stepped his foot in his house, he found me there. Are you still here? I said, sir, I'm here. What do you want me to do for you? I said, I want you to change my point because it's not what I got. He looks at me. What do you have to give me? I said, I have Jesus. He laughed. He entered in his house. He brought back those registers where he was marking. He gave me. Give yourself the point which you deserve. I knew the way it works. I give myself, I marked the point which I deserved. Guess what? We were during holiday. The moment we came back, he gave people testimony. He said, I never see a person who is so determined like this boy. He came and confronted me, and I was forced to change to give him what was rightful is. Do not give up because people are telling you that it is impossible, it won't work. It's them, it's not you. If it did not work for them, does not mean that it won't work for you. It may be complicated. Tell me. Sarah's womb was dead. Was dead. Even the moments where the angel, those 3 men came before to go to Sodom, they told Abraham, where is your wife? He said, she's in the tent. They said, next year, this time around, we will come, but she will have a child. What she said? She laughed because she knew it was impossible. Before God, there's no impossibilities. When you trust God, where people are telling you that it is impossible, but you keep trusting God, I'm telling you, that is when God is going even to increase your faith. When you trust Him, where you're not supposed to trust Him. People trust God for what? You are sick. You are trusting God because you know that if I go to the hospital, they'll give you medicine, I'll be okay. If you ever trust God when they tell you that there's nothing we can do, they give you days to live, but you trust God. You say, this is what men said. What does God say about this situation? What does God say about this situation? The person who called Abraham to leave his family, it was God, not people. I think people were even laughing at Sarah since she was childless. I know sometimes men, sometimes they can pretend. You know, a woman when she's not giving birth, It's a heavy load. It's a heavy load. I saw one woman who even stole somebody's child because she cannot give birth. She said, when I will grow old, this child will stand for me. Imagine having all the wealth which you can have. Workers, money, but you don't have someone to inherit. Abraham was even planning to shift his inheritance toward his servants. God says, no. It is not over until I say it is over. Sometimes we give up so early, where God is still in the process of blessing us. Do you know that a seed, unless it dies, it will never produce? But James, you understand? If a seed does not die, it will never produce. Because once you bury a seed, it's finished. It's you have to die to go to the process of metaphors instead of it to germinate. If that seed does not die, it will never produce fruits. Jesus said, unless a seed dies, then it will produce so much fruits. God waited the ability of Abraham to produce to die before releasing the womb of Sarah. Why Hagar got pregnant so easily, but Sarah took long? Because at the age of 99, and 89, she became pregnant. And she gave birth. 100, which means he became a father at the age of 100 years. Like my age times 2, having a baby. How? But the Bible declares, in verse 19, without weakling in his faith, the first of the facts that his body was as good as dead, since he was about 100 years old, and Sarah's womb was also dead, yet he did not waver through unbelief. We quit so quickly. We are so quickly to walk out of anything. God haven't finished doing, but you say, I am tired. It's better I die. It's better I go. Is that decision good? What does that decision produce in your life? You know, when Abraham believed God, let me give you a secret. When God says that he will bless you, he will change your life, you have only one duty to do, is to believe God. When it's going to happen, it's not your problem. How it's going to happen, it's not your problem. Where it's going to happen, it's not your problem. Your problem is to believe and wait to see what God has said. Because God is not a man. Whatever he says, if you remain in his word, you shall see it to pass. We are so quick to walk out. I remember when Job was sick, his body having sores everywhere. His wife came to him and said, just curse God and die because you are suffering too much. He never did so. But I know my Redeemer lives. Sometimes trials, problem, it's only to shape you, to make you, to shape you to become a better person. If gold does not go through fire, it will never be pure. It will never shine. In order for gold to shine, you have to go through fire. But if you stop hoping, you know, when they say against hope, it simply means no matter what people says about my condition, I still believe in God, that He will do it. Even though I remain the only person on earth, God will do it because He had said so. Even they say that I've grown so old, but I will not get married. Even in the meantime, what we do not see is very strong, but we neglect it. If you give place to what you do not see, you'll be so powerful. You see, everything we see physically, everything happens beyond the scene. Pray God to give you the understanding of what happens beyond the scene. "25 years. Even me, I'll say, Father, no, Lord, let me just give up. You told me to leave my family. Here I am, 24 years, no child. How come? It's you who called me. I didn't call myself. You told me to depart. I quit everything." You know, when God enters in covenant with you, everything changes. The person who is in, because in verse 16, in verse 17, that is when God made a covenant with Abraham, circumcision. When you enter in a covenant with God, a person in whom you are in covenant with, he will never betray you, no matter what. Because when he betrays you, he betrays himself. You also see people, those who are going into occultism, there is that covenant of blood. To say that you cannot betray me, I cannot betray you. That is when God entered in the covenant of Abraham. He said that I already have made you. Your problem is not to know how am I going to do it. You just wait and see it will happen. That's why he was able, when the angel was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, to stand and intercede on their behalf. Because you know that the person in whom I'm speaking to, I'm in covenant with. He pleaded on behalf of Sodom and Gomorrah because he was in covenant with God. That plea also brought some good things to him. God said, next year, I'll come back and your wife, she'll have a child. What makes us to give up? What makes us to let it go? Our sight. That's what the Bible says. We do not live by sight, but we live by faith. Sight will always push you to give up, to let it go. Because you've been waiting for so long. And once you see that things does not happen, people who found you left you, you will say, no. I think that God is not on my side. That's what you can think. The moment the workers of Abraham and Lot's quarrel, because the herd was too much, Abraham said, no, do not let our herd quarrel. Let's just part ways. If you go left, I'll go right. If you go right, I'll go left. Abraham told Lot, choose. The Bible says he saw a green plain. Lot chose what he saw. The green land. Physically speaking, it chose the right place. It took everything which was there. But after it departed from Abraham, God told Abraham, lift up your eyes. Everything which you see, it's yours. There were no green pasture. But when there were green pasture, there were disaster. It ended up in Sodom and Gomorrah. That plain was destroyed because of the wickedness. That's why, as people says, not everything which glitters, it's gold. Not everything. Especially you young ones, I'm advising you. Do not follow the move of what is happening now. People, they've entered, what can I say? Occult. They've gone to see people to help them out in order for them to appear, in order for them to travel. When your time comes, you say, every person in this world has his own time. Your time to shine is not my time to shine. If I want to put myself in your time to shine, I will do something which I'm not supposed to do, which will bring trouble in my life. That's why Abraham went to end up sleeping with Hagar. Wrong advice. Do you know the descendants of Hagar? Ishmael. You know the descendants of Ishmael? Arab people. You know those Arab? All those Arab. All those Muslim. Those are descendants of Ishmael. Look what is happening today. Small advice. They've turned everything around. Because I want to have a family. I can have a family through, but the plan of God was not to have a family through Hagar. The plan of God was to have a family, Abraham and Sarah. Beloved in the Lord, no matter what you are going through in life, believe God. There is no sickness which God cannot cure. There is no situation which God cannot take you out of that situation. There is no condition which God cannot reverse. No condition. If you are able to do it, don't involve God. God intervenes when you cannot. That's why at the age of 99, he told him that you have a child. 99. Abraham gave birth to Isaac, he was 100 years old. Sarah was 8 years old. To show that there's nothing impossible before God. He opted and believed to what God says. Sometimes we lack when God says that I will do. You see your condition, you see your status. Say no. Sister Shikana, if God said that
is going to make you prime minister. Are you going to accept it? Are you going to believe it? You first look, hey, my family and those who are in the presidency, I've got no connection. No, that's not the problem. When God says it's going to make a way, it's going to make a way. You know, I was so shocked before I conclude. All these years, science people used to refuse, reject the crossing of the Red Sea. All these years, they used to reject it, say it's impossible. 1970, there was a man who even went to that place. He saw some wheels of gold under the Red Sea. They rejected. Recently, with this new technology, they saw like there was a battlefield under the sea, like people were crossing. There were traces now. You can hide the truth. The truth is so stubborn. Now which means others now they are ashamed because they've been teaching for years in school that it never happened. But they are proof. Which shows it. God is the only one who has the last word upon your life. My advice to you is this. No matter what happens, do not lose hope. Even if they say that there is nothing we can do, there is nothing they can do. But then there's nothing they can do, but God can do something. They say, look at the reports. The way it looks here, there's nothing to do. You just go, call your family, and give them your last word. Look, God. God, what do you say? In this matter, what do you say? What God can do is beyond understanding and beyond reach. It's beyond. Just you trust God and believe He can do it, He will do it. Most of the time, as I said, our sight deceives us. Our sight deceives us. But when you up where nature says no, you will see the end of God. You will surely see the end of God. Abraham is our father in faith. He believed God even when it was impossible. To conclude, after Isaac was born, the child he waited for 25 years. And God asked him to offer him as a sacrifice. Can you do that? You've been childless for almost all your life. And when the child grew, and God said, I want this son, it's a sacrifice. What are you going to do? Are you going to do it? You see, there are levels in life where we have to reach. Abraham was expecting for an heir for almost his life. The heir eventually came. He grew. God says, I want him as a sacrifice. And God said, I want your child, your only one, Isaac. But he knew there was Ishmael. But he said, the only one, Isaac. Bring him to me. But this man, despite what he went through, he believed that God is able to bring back a person back to life. That's why he did not hesitate to go with Isaac to the mountain. Because he knew, even if I sacrifice Isaac, God is able to bring him back to me. That's when he was going to the mountain, if you read Genesis chapter 22, verse 5, verse 6, it says, when he saw the mountain from far Moriah, he told his disciple, you with the donkey remain here. Me and the young boy, we shall go to the mountain, worship the God, and we, not I, we are going to worship, and we will come back to you. You take your offering, you put. You do not go back with it. But how come you are telling your servant that we are going to the mountain and we shall come back to you? Which type of belief is that? And when he reached the mountain, it did not stop there. The Bible declares he took the child, tied the child, prepared the altar, put the child on the altar, took the knife at the point of killing even the child. I pray so that God can give me that type of faith. The thing you've been waiting for so many years, when it eventually comes, God said, give it to me. And I'm ready to release. Is it easy? It's not easy. For your entire life, you are waiting for that. It came, you are rejoicing, say, no, now I can die in peace because I know I've got an heir. But God surprised you, give it to me. He did not doubt. He did not even inform his wife. He took the child. But God's, sometimes, I always tell people, we cannot pretend to love God. God knows our heart. He knows. When God saw that, he said, stop, don't do it. Stop. Because within you, you have given me your child already, your son. Don't kill the child. There is the ram. You see the level of commitment, of believing in God. What is happening today? Small mistake, you give up. You say, I can't do that. I'm not the only one. May God bless us. I want us to pray one prayer before we conclude.